You know that feeling when someone's complaining about money problems and you're thinking, wait, don't you make like six figures? And then you catch yourself doing the exact same thing, checking your account, seeing a decent number, but still feeling that little knot in your stomach when an unexpected bill shows up. I want you to picture two people right now. Same city, same type of job, similar age. Person A makes $85,000 a year. Person B makes $52,000 a year. Person A has $240 in their checking account. They're anxious about money every single day. They avoid looking at their balance because it stresses them out. They feel completely stuck. Person B has $8,200 in savings, manageable bills, genuine peace of mind. They checked their account once this week and went about their life. How does this make sense? My name is Jade, and I spend way too much time analyzing financial psychology. Why people earning good salaries stay broke while modest earners build actual security. And what I found is this. There are 7 hidden forces working against you. Once you see them, you can't unsee them. And number 4 is going to blow your mind because it reveals why even a $20,000 raise won't help if you don't understand this pattern. But we'll get there. Let me start with the first one, and this one's sneaky. Number 1, money fragmentation. Most people think they control their money because they earn it. Here's the truth. Your money gets divided before your conscious mind even processes what happened. The system doesn't hand you cash and ask what you want to do with it. It splits everything automatically, and by the time you notice, the game's already over. Think about it this way. You ever try to hold water in your hands? The harder you grip, the faster it leaks through your fingers. That's exactly what's happening to your paycheck, except you're not even doing the gripping. The system's doing it for you. Here's how this actually works in practice. You're earning $85,000 yearly. Sounds solid, right? That breaks down to $3,270 every 2 weeks before taxes. After federal and state taxes at roughly 25%, you're taking home $2,450. Now watch what happens next, because this is where people lose the plot completely. Rent gets pulled first, $1,200. That's nearly half your after-tax income gone immediately before you make a single choice. Think about that for a second. You work 2 entire weeks and half disappears to housing before you even decide what to have for breakfast. Groceries and restaurants, $400. Vehicle payment plus insurance plus fuel, $550. Phone, internet, streaming services, $120. Power, water, garbage, $140. Before you make one single decision about your money, you've allocated $2,410 of your $2,450. You have $40 remaining for 2 entire weeks. $40 for clothes, emergencies, entertainment, savings, everything else. But here's the psychological trick that makes this work, and it's brilliant in a really dark way. You don't experience this as poverty. You have transportation, you have shelter, you have food and entertainment. Netflix works, your phone works, you're driving a decent car. The system provides just enough surface comfort that you stop questioning why wealth isn't actually accumulating. Research from the Financial Health Network shows that 54% of Americans are financially unhealthy despite having consistent income. More than half. These aren't unemployed people. These are people with jobs, with paychecks, with all the trappings of stability, and they're drowning quietly. Now let me show you something that'll probably make you angry. Someone earning $120,000 takes home roughly $7,400 monthly after taxes. Sounds like plenty, right? Like that's finally enough to breathe. Watch the fragmentation eat it alive. Mortgage, $2,600. 2 car payments, $920. Childcare, $1,500. Insurance packages, $380. Utilities and services, $620. Food and dining, $1,100. Total allocated before discretionary spending, $7,120. They have $280 remaining monthly before buying clothes, going to a movie, or saving a single dollar. On a $120,000 salary, they've got $280 of actual flexibility. Here's one more, and this is where it gets really interesting. Someone at $65,000 yearly takes home $4,000 monthly, rent $1,350, vehicle $460, groceries and eating out $500, utilities $155, phone and internet $95, insurance $260, subscriptions $75, gas $130. Total $3,025. They have $975 remaining monthly. Compare that to the person making $120,000 who has $280 remaining. The person earning nearly double has less than one-third the actual cash flow. Why? Because the fragmentation scales with income. Higher earners qualify for bigger mortgages, lease more expensive vehicles, live in pricier areas with higher everything. Every single category fragments more money as you earn more. What this reveals is brutally simple. When income arrives in large chunks but exits through countless small channels, your brain never registers the full picture. You're maintaining a lifestyle that's completely different from building wealth. The fragmentation makes you feel fine while you're actually underwater. You're not failing at budgeting. The system is designed to fragment your money before you can build wealth with it. Number 3, the golden handcuffs. The cruelest aspect of the salary trap is this. You build it yourself. Nobody forced you into that apartment. Nobody required the vehicle upgrade. You chose these things because they felt like progress. And now you're locked in, and the cage is made of your own decisions. At $65,000 income, you rent a $1,300 apartment, month-to-month lease. You can terminate with 60 days notice. You can relocate for opportunity. You can downsize if needed. You can move across the country next quarter if an amazing job appears. That's flexibility. That's freedom. At $130,000 income, you buy a $480,000 house, 30-year mortgage at 6.5%, roughly $3,030 monthly. You cannot leave without selling. If the market drops, you're trapped underwater. If job opportunities emerge elsewhere, you're stuck because you can't just walk away. If you need to cut costs drastically, you're committed for 3 decades. That's constraint disguised as achievement. The same pattern repeats everywhere, and once you see it, it's everywhere. At $65,000, you finance a used $22,000 vehicle over 4 years, $480 monthly. You can pay it off early. You can sell it anytime. You control it. At $130,000, you lease a $62,000 vehicle on a 3-year cycle. $1,020 monthly, early termination penalty around $5,500. You're locked into that payment until the lease ends, and then you're locked into getting another one because you can't downgrade once you're at this level. At $65,000, your kids attend public school. Free. You can move districts, you can relocate states, no financial commitment binding you. At $130,000, you enroll them in private school, $28,000 yearly per child, multi-year commitment. You can't pull them out mid-year without massive disruption. 2 kids means $56,000 yearly you're locked into, and that's not negotiable. Watch what this creates in your actual life. You think about leaving your job, your stomach drops. Why? Because your lifestyle demands that exact salary level. You've engineered a financial existence that requires uninterrupted paychecks at that specific amount. You're no longer working because you want to. You're working because you have to. The salary isn't buying freedom. It's funding a more expensive version of dependency. Someone I know illustrates this perfectly, works in technology, earns $165,000, completely miserable at the job. The culture's toxic. The hours are crushing. Every single thought of leaving triggers actual physical anxiety. Why? Already committed to a $420,000 mortgage, $2,650 monthly, 2 vehicle leases totaling $1,420 monthly, kids in private school at $4,800 monthly combined, fixed obligations total $8,870 monthly. That requires about $106,000 yearly just for those 3 categories, before food, before utilities, before insurance, before anything else. The company offered a promotion one day, $20,000 increase, relief flooded through, gratitude, the feeling of finally winning, finally some breathing room, right? Then the mortgage payment adjusted upward with an interest rate reset. The oldest child needed orthodontic work, $6,800. The vehicle lease ended, so an upgrade happened because you can't downgrade once you're at a certain level. Final result? Financial stress remained completely unchanged. That's the golden handcuffs. You constructed them thinking they represented success. Now they control every single decision you make. You can't take the startup job that might be amazing because it pays $35,000 less. You can't take 6 months off to explore a business idea. You can't move to a lower-cost area for a better quality of life. Every decision runs through the filter of maintaining the income that funds the commitments. Number 4, expense escalation. Here's the one most people never see, and this is the one I promised would blow your mind. The system isn't just designed to keep your expenses matching your income. It's designed to make your expenses grow faster than your income. This is the part where people realize the game is rigged. You're making $75,000. Your required monthly expenses total about $4,700. That's 75% of your after-tax income. Tight but manageable. You get a $15,000 raise, now earning $90,000. You'd expect your required expenses to stay at $4,700, giving you about $940 extra monthly. That's not what happens, not even close. The new apartment in a better area costs $430 more monthly. Property crime is lower, so you feel justified. Safety matters. The vehicle upgrade adds $270 monthly because safety features are better and you can't put a price on safety. Grocery spending increases $130 monthly because you're shopping at Whole Foods instead of Safeway in the new neighborhood. The neighborhood gym is $60 more monthly, but it's nicer and closer. Your required expenses just increased $890 monthly. Your raise gave you $940 monthly after tax. You're now only $50 monthly better off than before the raise, despite earning $15,000 more annually. Your expenses escalated nearly as fast as your income, and you didn't even notice it happening because each individual upgrade felt completely reasonable. Let me give you the math on a bigger jump because this is where it gets absolutely insane. You go from $90,000 to $140,000. That's $50,000 more gross, about $3,100 monthly after tax. Significant raise, real money, life-changing money. But watch the lifestyle adjustments hit. Housing jumps $1,100 monthly. You're a senior manager now. You should live in a certain type of place. Vehicle costs rise $580 monthly with the luxury lease. You're meeting clients and appearances matter. Childcare upgrades to private preschool, $800 more monthly. Better early education is worth it. Insurance packages expand $170 additional for better coverage. Food and dining increase $540 monthly because you're eating at better restaurants and shopping at premium stores. Total new monthly expenses, $3,190. Your after-tax raise, $3,100. You're now $90 monthly deeper in the hole despite earning $50,000 more annually. You got a massive promotion and your financial stress increased. That's not a bug. That's a feature of how the system is designed. Here's what makes this so vicious. And I want you to really process this. At $75,000, you have about $300 monthly left over after required expenses. At $90,000, you have roughly $350 monthly left over. At $140,000, you have about $260 monthly left over. Your income nearly doubled. Your actual financial flexibility decreased by $40 monthly. The research backs this up. Studies consistently show that people making $100,000 report similar financial stress to those making $50,000. Different dollar amounts, identical anxiety because the system is calibrated so required expenses always catch up. Number 5, financial dependence. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, even a large one, you become predictable. Manageable, controllable, you need that job. You can't take risks, can't explore business ideas, can't invest in your own concepts because every dollar is already committed before you even earn it. Your landlord benefits from your trapped condition. They know you'll pay rent because you have to. Your bank benefits, they know you'll make the mortgage payment. The vehicle company benefits, they know the lease payment is guaranteed. The private school benefits, they know tuition is locked in. They all extract guaranteed revenue from you month after month, year after year. You represent a dependable income stream for them, but what do you get? You get the appearance of success, nice address, quality vehicle, good schools for your kids, the right gym membership, and underneath all of it, complete financial fragility. You're one layoff from catastrophe, one medical emergency from a crisis, one unexpected expense from credit card debt spiraling. Picture this scenario right now. You resign tomorrow. Just walk away from your job. How long could you maintain your current existence? Don't give me the answer you wish was true. Answer honestly. If you said less than 3 months, you're trapped, and you're not alone. Research from the Federal Reserve shows that 40% of Americans couldn't cover a $400 emergency expense with cash or savings. 40%. A $400 emergency. That means nearly half of people, including those earning good salaries, are living without any meaningful financial buffer. Process that for a second. You could be making $95,000 or $135,000 or $180,000 and still be unable to survive more than a few weeks without a paycheck. That's not security. That's an extremely comfortable cage. Here's what makes this one so effective at keeping you trapped. At $55,000 income with $37,000 yearly expenses, you can save $18,000 yearly. After 2 years, you have $36,000 saved. You can survive nearly a year without work. You have options. You have power. At $180,000 income with $154,000 yearly expenses, you can save $26,000 yearly. Larger absolute amount, right? But your expenses are $154,000 yearly, so that $26,000 gives you roughly 2 months of runway. 2 months. The higher earner has less actual security despite making more than 3 times as much. They're trapped tighter because their expenses are so elevated. The system wants you dependent on continuous paychecks. Because dependent people are predictable people. Predictable people don't rock boats. They don't negotiate aggressively. They don't leave bad situations. They don't take entrepreneurial risks. They accept whatever terms maintain their lifestyle. They stay quiet when they should speak up. They tolerate poor treatment because they can't afford to lose the income. Your money isn't funding freedom. It's funding dependence, and here's the really brutal part. Most people never realize this until something breaks. Until the layoff happens, until the health issue emerges, until the company restructures, then they discover they've been weeks from financial collapse for years while feeling successful. Number 6, the comparison anchor. The trap doesn't just make you spend more, it makes you spend more than your peer group, and your peer group scales automatically with your income, pulling your spending higher without you even noticing the pattern. At $60,000 income, your comparison set is family, coworkers, neighbors earning $45,000 to $75,000. You observe their $22,000 vehicles, their $1,400 apartments, their $85 dinners when you go out together. You match or slightly exceed at this level. Your spending ceiling anchors to theirs. You'd feel foolish buying a $65,000 car when everyone you know drives $22,000 cars. It would feel wrong. At $220,000 income, your comparison set shifts completely to colleagues, clients, neighbors earning $160,000 to $350,000. Different world. You observe their $68,000 vehicles, their $3,600 housing costs, their $260 dinners at the places you meet for business, their $9,000 vacations they mention casually. You match or slightly exceed at this level because that's your anchor now. That's what normal looks like in your world. Watch how this operates in practice because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Your colleague mentions their child's private school. $28,000 yearly, top-rated, great outcomes. You feel the internal question forming. Why isn't my child there? Am I shortchanging their future? Enrollment happens within 3 months. Now you're surrounded by other private school parents. Different conversations. They discuss their vacation homes, their ski trips, their summer place. You feel behind. You don't have a second property yet. The anchor shifts again. You start looking at vacation rentals to buy. Someone earning $68,000 sees a $55,000 vehicle and thinks that's absurd. Who spends that much on a car? Someone earning $248,000 sees the identical vehicle and thinks that's reasonable, maybe even modest for someone at their level. Same car, different anchor, different perception of normal. The trap works because as you earn more, you're surrounded by people spending more, which makes higher spending feel normal. You can't even see it happening. The comparison anchor rises with income, and you can't detect the trap because everyone in your circle is trapped identically. You're all reinforcing each other's spending patterns without realizing it. Here's the invisible progression. At $55,000, you feel rich when you can afford $130 dinners occasionally. At $95,000, you feel rich when you can afford $220 dinners regularly. At $180,000, you feel normal spending $220 on dinner, and you feel rich when you can afford the $420 tasting menu. The anchor keeps rising. The feeling of enough keeps receding. You never arrive because the destination moves every time you get close. Number 7, the awareness gap. The moment you recognize your salary isn't making you wealthy, it's keeping you too busy to become wealthy. Everything shifts. Once you see the pattern, you can't ignore it. You can't unsee it. Your questions change completely. Not how do I earn more, but why does everything I earn disappear? Not how do I get promoted, but how do I build assets rather than obligations. Not what car should I lease, but why am I leasing at all? This isn't about quitting your job tomorrow. I'm not suggesting you walk away from your income. The point is, awareness changes behavior. Once you understand the trap is engineered, not natural, you can begin dismantling it. First principle: separate income from wealth. A $180,000 salary is income, temporary, job dependent, vanishes the moment you stop working. $50,000 in savings and investments is wealth, permanent, self-generating, keeps working when you stop. One is a flow, the other is a stock. You need both, but most people focus entirely on increasing the flow while never building the stock. Second principle: attack the gap intentionally. Keep expenses below income deliberately. This feels completely backward in a world that tells you to upgrade everything with every raise. But it's the only one that actually functions for building wealth. Someone earning $75,000 spending $52,000 builds more wealth than someone earning $200,000 spending $186,000. The gap is everything. That $23,000 yearly gap at $75,000 income invested at 7% average returns becomes roughly $320,000 over 10 years. That $14,000 yearly gap at $200,000 income becomes roughly $195,000 over the same period. The person earning nearly 3 times as much builds less than 2/3 of the wealth. Not because they're stupid, because they fell into the patterns while the other person avoided them. Third principle: redirect the gap into working assets, not liabilities that work against you. Index funds purchasing market slices, real estate through REITs if you lack property capital. Skills that generate income independent of your job. These build ownership while you sleep. Your money works for you instead of you working for money. Fourth principle: construct optionality. The moment you have 3 to 6 months of expenses in liquid savings, a psychological shift occurs. You're no longer trapped. Negotiation power increases because you can walk away. Risk tolerance expands because you have a runway. You can exit situations that don't serve you. The objective isn't just higher earnings. The objective is independence from the system's requirement that you need continuous paychecks at a specific level. When you don't need the paycheck to survive, you're free. You might still work, but you're choosing to, not forced to. That psychological difference changes everything.